And Nicole Sifuentes, also most worth mentioning, the Canadian, third in the Millrose Mile in New York a couple of weeks ago. Again, set a personal best in qualifying. So let's take you through the lineup in more detail. Luiza GEGA from Albania on the inside was second in her heat, 25 years old. Many of these smaller country representatives, of course, almost by definition record holders in their own country. That's kind of why they're here. But on a world stage, that takes on a completely different meaning. There is Moser from the USA. AREGAWI, there she is. Controversial, really, in many ways, not just because of the switch of nationality, but compounded, Tim, by the fact that she actually spends very little time in Sweden.
Yes, absolutely. I think there ought to be a degree of beating in the middle ground for these athletes who take up these passports of convenience, is what I would call them.
There is Embaye, who will give AREGAWI a run for her money, that's for sure. Only 19, the youngest in the field. Rababe ARAFI as well from Morocco, the African champion. There is Hilali as well from Morocco. So we're almost ready. Here we go, the first track final of this second day. And they're underway. 7.5 laps of the track. And let's keep an eye on AREGAWI. Let's keep an eye on the tactics. It's GEGA that's gone out hard. She did so, didn't she, Tim, in the heat as well. She ran from the front for much of her heat and got through, I think, from memory, in second place in the end, but did a lot of the work.
Heather Kamp straight to the front as she ran in her heat. She's not a particularly pleasing looking running aesthetically, Heather Kamp. She doesn't move that well, but she's certainly strong of mind. She decided to do this in her heat, and it worked. And she's done it here. She ran a personal best in her heat, did Kamp, of 4:11. She'll need to go a lot quicker than that here if she wants to finish amongst the medals. But, of course, the big question mark for this entire field is how on earth do you even begin to think about beating the likes of Abeba AREGAWI? Do you just coast round for 6 or 8 laps and then try and out-sprint her? You're not going to do that. Do you try and outrun her from the front? You're not going to do that. There's, you know, when you've got all the advantages she's got in ability, very, very hard to come up with any kind of formula, Chris, that can defeat her.
Hard to see one, isn't it? And really on that basis, without being too negative, I guess the strategy for the other athletes has to be, right, let's take it as read that AREGAWI has got gold round her neck. What's the strategy to make sure that I end up with silver or bronze at the very least?
Well, AREGAWI hits the front there with 5 laps to run, and I think perhaps she thought there's no point in jogging around at 35. Oh, there's a faller. Oh, my word. Hard to see who that was. It's Kamp. It's Kamp for the American. The early leader has gone down. That's so unlucky. But AREGAWI has decided enough is enough. And frankly, that's exactly why she did it, I think, because of the danger of that happening. And ironically, if she hit the front, it probably caused panic in the pack. And that's why Kamp went down.
She's continuing as Kamp, but she's got an awful lot of ground to make up. And, of course, that will cost her vital energy. She's done very well to get herself up off the track. She's just got to make sure she eases her way back. Of course, she's not got that many laps to do it in. And there's a big gap there of, what, 30, 40 metres. And her race has gone. At the other end of the track, AREGAWI has also gone in a different way. She's way out in front. Look at that lead already. Barely 3 laps into this race. So, as we predicted in advance, it's a battle for the minor placings, really, for the silver and bronze.
She's motoring, Chris. That was a 31-second lap there from AREGAWI, and the gap continues to grow between her and the pack, with little GEGA of Albania leading the chase. But it is really a case of how fast can AREGAWI run here to win. How much can she win by, and who will take the silver and bronze? And again, lots more clashing back in the pack. Embaye there, I think, Chris, guilty of leaping across the front of Moser. That was dangerous.
It was dangerous, and it just makes the point that AREGAWI, of course, has got the ability to get out in front, but the advantage of that not just being in first place is that she's not involved in any of this argy-bargy that's going on behind her. GEGA, as she did in the heat, quite happy to run in front of the pack and do the hard work. Embaye, who I was very impressed with in that first heat as well, but again, just drifting wide, taking her eye off the track beneath her.
Could be anybody's race back there. for second and third, for silver and bronze. I'd rather fancy Moser, very experienced, the Alberto Salazar coached athlete. Aregawi has covered that penultimate lap in 32.5. There's really no need for her to push hard now. She can coast this last 150.
So the bell has gone and the battle for silver and bronze is underway, and these two stretching away. It's the Ethiopian Embaye who leads the diminutive Gega, the Albanian, who's done really well over the course of this last 2 days. Aregawi, as you can see, already into the home straight, miles ahead. Just a question of Aregawi against the clock. It's not going to be under 4 minutes, but it's not far off. 4:00:62. Aregawi wins gold, the first gold medal of this second day. Her fellow Ethiopian comes through to take second place, and the silver medal, Embaye. So Ethiopia 1, Ethiopia 2, but of course it's the vest of Sweden that counts. An embrace there between the two Ethiopians, and Gega is flat out. So predictable, we did predict it, but she still had to do the business, and she did it emphatically so. Aregawi takes gold.
Well, her last 400 metres I got at 63.5, Chris, and in all the excitement,